to do improv together. He runs a website called humor.us where you can find out about the charitable comedy stuff he does around town. Please put your hands together for Anthony Poponi, everybody!
He's so hot right
now. Isn't Liam the cutest? Like, I would let him live in my basement. I got no problem with that, right? So adorable. I want to pinch his little cheeks. And for the longest time I couldn't because he was under 21 and I didn't want to get in trouble with the law. Again, how are y'all doing? Yeah, thanks for coming out. My name is Anthony Poponi, and like everybody's got a nickname, right? And so I want to hear yours. We don't have time to pass the mic around. But if I were to ask you on the count of 3 to just shout out your nickname, do that for me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that one's really great. That one's terrible. I'll let you guys figure out which one's which. My name is Anthony Poponi, right? Anthony Poponi. And people say, Anthony, do you go by Tony? And I'm like, no. And they're like, why not? And I'm like, Tony Poponi. And that's exactly what they've done my entire life, right? And some of you right now are like, Tony Pepperoni. Tony Spumoni. And some of you are right at the final few stanzas of Tony Poponi. If I catch you doing that, I will punch you just like I did everyone in middle school. I was born and raised in New Jersey. How many people have been to New Jersey before? What the hell are y'all cheering about? New Jersey is a wonderful place to leave. And I left when I was 17, somebody successful, that's the nicest thing. The actual tagline for New Jersey is Garden State, and most people call it the garbage state, right? And I left there when I was 17 years old, and I've lived in multiple places around the world and around the country. And I think sometimes I go back to see my family, and I think sometimes of like who I would be if Anthony Poponi had never left New Jersey and had stayed there still as a 17-year-old boy, right? And how much that would have influenced who I am, because here I am, Anthony Poponi in Bend, Oregon, right? Lived here for almost 4 years, right? Love Bend, Oregon. Lived here for 4 years, you know, like to drink nice añejo tequila, right? Have a bougie cocktail from time to time, right? That's Anthony Poponi over here. And back on the East Coast over here, that's Tony Poponi. So, bro. Yeah? He doesn't drink the really good tequila because he's got a bunch of kids and a bunch of child support payments, right? And Tony Poponi's out there, and you know what he likes to drink? He likes to drink Mike's Hard Lemonade and Twisted Tea, and he mixes them together. He doesn't call it an Arnie Palmer, right? He calls it a Sally Palmer. Yeah, bro, you get it? Get it? He's always doing this like he's gonna punch you, right? Trying to hit you, you know? Anthony Poponi, proud to say that he has a rescue dog named Rusty, a Siberian Husky, a therapy dog. Yes, please applaud me. While I'm virtue signaling to you, Rusty goes to the hospital and the cancer center. He's a therapy dog. He loves it. He's a very sweet little guy. You know, that's Anthony Poponi. Back on the East Coast, Tony Poponi would tell you that the dog that you're seeing is a black Labrador. But it's all pitbull, right? You know, and he's got a full accoutrement of armaments, if you know what I mean, right? Because you don't do that to a dog, bro. You don't take that away from a dog, you know what I mean? Right? And J-Mo, the dog, J-Mo, right? Because J-Mo, right? J-Mo, the dog, breaks out the fence all the time and goes around the yard, and he shares his love and his DNA with all the neighborhood dogs. And he's got a bunch of illegitimate offspring all over the neighborhood, much like Tony Poponi probably would, right? Anthony Poponi, bachelor's degree from the University of Georgia, go Dogs. Biology was my major. I have multiple accreditations and certifications. Tony Poponi over here took a gap year, and he's on his 28th consecutive gap year at this point, right? He's an assistant manager at Best Buy. Steals stuff from the back lot, you know? So that's what I could have been, and that's not what I am, and I'm grateful for that, you know. And I think about like, well, when I retire, what would I do with myself? I'm like, well, when I retire, you know, I want to travel abroad, and I love traveling to different countries, right? You know, like getting out of town every once in a while, right? Yeah, that month is called April when it's gross here, right? I'll be on boards of directors and doing good volunteering. You know, maybe have a beach house on the coast if it doesn't fall into the ocean. And Tony Poponi, just wants to move to Daytona, bro. As soon as my kids don't have to have child support no more, right? Wants to be a parrot head, live the good life, bro. Drinking land shark beers, you know. Ugh. Like, I think if Tony Poponi and Anthony Poponi, like if the spheres ever came together and the universes ever collided and they met each other, they would absolutely hate each other, right? And they would probably get in a fight, and Tony Poponi would definitely win that fight, right? And then he would automatically go to jail because he's got warrants and he's on probation, all that good stuff. Land Shark reminded me that I was supposed to tell you the drink special that they're doing here tonight. You can get this at the bar if you have a chance, between the comics. It's a politically inspired cocktail. I hope that's okay with you guys. Do you know Kamala Harris? Are you familiar with this person?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to encourage you to be cautious about applauding for political candidates until you know the rest of the room, right? But do you know what they're calling people that follow her that are like her big supporters?
Smart.
What?
Smart.
I just encouraged you to be cautious in the room unless you guys Now, have you heard this term K-hive? Have you heard this? We're calling it the K-hive, like bees, you know, like bees in a hive all being together and working together. Also sounds like communist, you know. Oh, that's fine. So the drink that they're asleep, that's smart, and that's what she is, a communist, right? That's what we need. Because we can't have anything in between in this country. Always have to break the nice things. So this drink here is interesting. It was rolled out at the Democratic National Convention. It's being served here tonight. They always serve at the Democratic National Convention. They always serve whiskey, even during Prohibition, right? So they're still making it with that. And it used to be that they would make this drink with, you know, the old respectable, the standard, straight, old granddad whiskey. You know who I mean, right? So they moved away from that, and they're still honoring the base of that whiskey and using that still. And now they're mixing it down with some sweet California honey. And some Napa wine that's got a nice little bubble to it, right? Just something to get you excited about, make you feel like just kind of moving your feet around a little bit. And they're calling it the K-Hive Waltz. Doesn't that sound nice? Sounds nice to some of you, and some of you are like, I'll take my drink, thank you, goodbye. Fine. They've been serving those at the Democratic National Convention with brat and a side of crushed Cheetos, which went over really well. And yeah, it was really interesting that at the Republican National Convention, they were doing, you know, beer and like Bud Light Lime, of course. And they were also serving up a specialty sandwich. It was a grinder. Oh, I got that wrong. They crashed the server on grinder. That's different. So get those at the bar. Have 1 or 2 or 12 if you're worried about what's going on in this country, as I am, right? Anarchy coming, November 2024. I've been around a while. I just celebrated my birthday on Tuesday. Thank you very much. Happy birthday. You can buy the K-Hive Waltz later. Is that what Waltz looks like? I don't even know. Some of you are brown and the bulbs in black and white. So I turned 52 on Tuesday, and had a really nice little gathering with some friends, a little tiny baby, I know. Not like Liam, but you can still pinch my cheeks for $5 because I'm broke. So thank you. And we got some people together, and my girlfriend brought some friends out, some of my friends were out. And one of my girlfriends brought a +1, a guy I had not met before. His name was Doug. And so I'm just meeting the guy, and I'm like, you know, I'm happy it's my birthday. Everybody's celebrating me because I'm awesome, obviously, super humble. And while we were there hanging out, this guy Doug comes up, and I'm like, oh, hey Doug, how you doing? And he's like, oh, happy birthday. And I said, oh, thanks. And he's like, oh, how old are you? And I said, well, I'm 52. And he said, oh, you don't look 52. And I was like, yeah, I know, thanks. And he's like, yeah, you look older. And he's like, you know, crow's feet, like receding hairline a little bit, you know, like you kind of falling apart a little, you know. And he was one of those guys that, like, when you meet him, like you can just, he's a mindful guy, right? So his odor preceded him. And when he was talking to me, he kept doing this, you know, this little mindful, whatever that mindful thing is. And when he told me that I looked older than I was at 52, I was like, I went from all the highs of being like, oh, it's my birthday, people love me. I was pissed, you know? And so without thinking about it, I punched him, like right in the chest. And I haven't done that since 1996, unless you count when I'm playing hockey, and I don't think that should count. And I felt bad because I must have hit him like right in one of his chakras because he folded over like a yoga mat. And he started rasping, and when I hit him, like he went down fast, and I was like, oh my God, this guy is gonna fall right on his face because he started teetering over. And at the last second, he put both hands down, like boom, 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 like this. And there he was, downward facing duck, you know? And he caught himself at the last second. And I left him there just thinking for a second. And I was like, you know what? He needs a message in this moment on my birthday. And I was like, hey man, you know, suffering is a gift. That's my gift to you on this birthday. That's my time. My name is Anthony Poponi. I'll be in the birthday. Have a great rest of your night.
Keep it going for Anthony Poponi, everybody! Guys, before we bring up our next act, can we all give a really loud happy birthday to Anthony right now? Happy birthday! I love that guy. He doesn't look a day over 65. All right, for our next act.